What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Moon back with week 3 of our NFL predictions. So far it says us a 17-13. That's not too shabby. But since we have the Broncos game and last Thursday night's game with the Patriots and Texans, as we correctly chose the Patriots to win that game, I know it hurts as a Broncos fan. We are actually technically 19-13. So let's go see how we did in week 2. So I don't think we did pretty bad. I mean, we got majority of these correct this week. I know we were half and half week 1, but hey, that's just how it goes in the NFL. So it looks like we did pretty decent for week 2. So now let's move on to week 3. So first up on the plate, we got the Browns at 0-2 versus the Miami Dolphins, which are also 0-2. So the Browns, they have gone to their third quarterback, the quarterback who ran out of bounds on a safety in a preseason game against the Packers, which I think he'll learn from. But with the Browns and how the Browns are just going so many steps backwards, it's only week 2 of the season. Can they turn around their season? But this game is in Miami. I think Miami gets back off to the start that they should have had. They could have been 1-1 if Kenny Stills had made that catch against the New Orleans the Seattle Seahawks. I get so confused because both defenses were pretty bad that game. But nonetheless, I think this game is going to Miami. And 90% of the votes are saying that Miami is going to kill the Browns. Wow. I wasn't really expecting that. So now, the Raiders against the Titans. So we have Marcus Mariota going up against Khalil Mack, Sean Smith, and that Raiders defense, and Jack Del Rio. So Jack Del Rio, he's kind of a prevent type defensive coach. He's starting to get a little bit more on the aggressive side with Derek Carr and Amari Cooper leading the offensive charge with Latavius Murray. I think that the Raiders are going to go into Tennessee and pull out a win. I think the Raiders start off 2-1 off to their season. I don't think Marcus Mariota has enough weapons, and can DeMarco Murray take off the pressure from Marcus Mariota? I don't think he can, which is the reason why I'm giving the nod to the Raiders. So now we got the Ravens at 2-0 against the Jaguars at 0-2. The Jags are playing we're playing the Packers pretty tough in week 1. They took a very big demolishing loss to the Chargers last week. Philip Rivers was just dotting them up last week. It was just not pretty for the Jaguars as a whole. But then we also have the Ravens, who have started off with a 2-0 start, beating the Browns and beating the Bills. They came back after the Browns had them down 20-2, but the Ravens always finding a way to come back. They beat the Browns to go to a 2-0 start. So, nonetheless, this is in Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville finds a way to get back on track. I think Blake Bortles lights up the stat sheet. I think he goes after their secondary because their front seven in Baltimore is an average front seven with T Sizzle and the front lines that they still have. But I think that Blake Bortles will be able to get the job done. And this is an upset alert. Looks like that not many people are picking the Jags to win this game. They're thinking that the Ravens will go 3-0. I just don't see it. I think the Jaguars finally get back on track this week. So now we have the elusive Redskins and Giants. I'm going to come back to this game because I really want to talk about that one. So now we got the Cardinals and the Bills. So the Bills off to an 0-2 start under Rex Ryan and Rob Ryan, the defensive coordinator. It's just not looking pretty over there in Buffalo against the Arizona Cardinals, who took a hard L week 1 on a missed snap to the Patriots, and then they come back the following week against the Buccaneers and flat out dominate. So this is in Buffalo, but Buffalo keeps skidding on defense. Their defense is not getting any better. It's actually getting a lot worse, which was not expected for coming out of the Buffalo Bills. But nonetheless, I think Carson Palmer goes into Buffalo, flat out dominates the score because I don't think Tyrod Taylor will be able to put up enough points to keep up with the Cardinals, and I don't think he'll be able to keep with that Cardinals defense with Patrick Peterson, Tyrann Mathieu, the front seven, and Chandler Jones. And I really just don't think he can match up well against that defense. I'm giving the nod to the Cardinals. 94% of the users agree with that decision. So now we are against the Vikings and the Panthers. So the Vikings already off to a shocking 2-0 start. No one really gave them a chance going into these first 2 games, but they figured out a way to win against Marcus Mariota and Aaron Rodgers, which I correctly predicted that upset last week. So looks like they're going into Carolina. This game is in Carolina. I think I would feel a lot more confident if they were in Minnesota, but since they're not, and it's Cam Newton and Greg Olsen and Kelvin Benjamin who's becoming a real stud in this league, I think I'm gonna have to go with an upset. I think I'm gonna have to go with the Minnesota Vikings to go into Carolina and find a way to go get a win. I think that defense will be able to hit Cam Newton just enough times if their secondary and Captain Munnerlyn and Trey Waynes can stop the attack of Kelvin Benjamin, the 6'5" stud, and Greg Olsen and Devin Funches and Ted Ginn Jr., the speed demon himself. I think they'll be able to win this game. They're gonna have to keep the game close, low scoring, maybe 17-10, and pull it out in the final minutes with Sam Bradford. As long as Sam Bradford doesn't hurt them, I know they do not have Adrian Peterson, but nonetheless, I think they'll be able to find a way to win this game with their defense. And now, speaking of defense, this game will be a battle of the defenses with the Broncos and Bengals. I'm already going to pick the Broncos. 65% are giving the Broncos a nod in this game. I was not really expecting this. But with the Broncos and Bengals, this is going to be a battle of the defenses. How will Trevor Siemian match up against Adam Pac-Man Jones and the Bengals defense with Ray Maluga and in the front seven that they have? But then we also have Andy Dalton, Jeremy Hill, and Giovanni Bernard, which were really ineffective in that Steelers game last week that they had, and they were able to sneak out a win week 1 against the Jets. So it's going to come down to defenses. Can Andy Dalton be able to withstand the pressure that the Denver defense is going to be bringing on them with the no-fly zone, with the front seven and Von Miller and Shane Ray and Shaquille Barrett and everyone else that they have on there? That team that we have is stacked when it comes to the defensive side of the ball. But also, the Bengals also have some well-trained defensive players. So they're not well-disciplined, but they are well-trained. But nonetheless, I think Denver finds a way to go in there. Trevor Siemian is able to manage the game, put up 24 points, make it a 24-20 game, and the Broncos win this game in a nail-biter, which it will be expected. So now we got the Lions and the Packers. So the Lions finding a way to get a win week 1 against the Colts, but then taking a hard loss week 2. As same for the Packers. Packers finding a way to beat the Jaguars week 1, and then taking a hard loss week 2 to the Vikings in an unexpected loss. But then, nonetheless, let's see. So we got Matthew Stafford with Amir Abdullah, and his receiving core with Golden Tate is up and down as of sorts. Against Aaron Rodgers, Jordy Nelson, Randall Cobb, Jared Cook, Eddie Lacy, I don't really see Matthew Stafford going into Green Bay, Rodgers home, and taking a win. This game is Aaron Rodgers' game to lose. This is a bounce-back game after a tough loss to the Vikings and Sam Bradford. Sam Bradford. Think about that for a second. It's Sam Bradford. But nonetheless, I think they're going to be able to get this win fairly easily. Maybe a 31-10 game. Because I don't think the Lions' defense is ready to stop what Aaron Rodgers has. The run game included, the pass game. I don't think they'll be able to stop both. They could shut down one, but they won't be able to shut down both. So now we got the Rams and the Buccaneers. So now the LA Rams coming back with a 9-3 win against Seattle. And the Rams always playing Seattle as it is, but they laid an egg week 1 against the 49ers in an embarrassment. But they bounced back, so now they're off to a shaky yet average start, so they're finding ways to get back. The Buccaneers winning week 1 against the Falcons, and then getting flat out destroyed against the Cardinals. So will Jameis Winston be able to bounce back against that Rams front seven, which was supposed to be quote-unquote one of the best front sevens in the league with Aaron Donald and Alec Ogletree? We'll be able to see. Only time will tell. But nonetheless, I think the Rams defense goes into Tampa Bay and finds a way to get a win, even though it's Mike Evans and Vincent Jackson and Austin Seferian-Jenkins that they have. But I think they'll be able to shut down Jameis Winston. And the only big question for the Rams is they don't have a touchdown yet. Can they get touchdowns to win this game against the Buccaneers? Because that's what it's going to come down to. Can they get the 7 instead of the 3? So we'll only have to be waiting for that one. Only time will tell tomorrow morning. So now we got the Rams going up against the Seahawks. So we got the 49ers and Blaine Gabbert, who took a very hard demolishing L against Cam Newton, the Carolina Panthers, versus the Seattle Seahawks and Russell Wilson not being protected and taking a 9-3 loss against the Rams already to start off 1-1. Seattle starting off to their slow starts as they normally are doing in recent memory, with this game being in Seattle and the 49ers finding ways to play Seattle tough. I think Seattle still gets the nod in this win because it's Russell Wilson. I think he'll be able to manage the game, get this team on track, and find a way to go 2-1 on the season. So now we got Ryan Fitzpatrick against Alex Smith and the Chiefs. So now this is a game of numbers. Who will be able to put up more points? Will Brandon Marshall be effective in this game? Will Anunwa be effective in this game? Anunwa being one of the newer Jets receivers that they have, who's been a flat-out stud to this point against the Bills when they played about 10 days ago against the Chiefs, who really got dotted up by Brock Osweiler and the Texans, as Osweiler and them took a very hard L last week. So for this game, it's in Kansas City. Kansas City really needs this bounce back game, but also the Jets are also coming into this game feeling pretty good about themselves. So I think that the Jets go into Kansas City, shut down Alex Smith in the pass game to make the Chiefs one-dimensional and force the Chiefs to have to run the football, which is a lot easier said than done. But with the Chiefs' run game, it hasn't been as good as it should because they don't have Jamal Charles right now. He's still injured. So I think this Jets front seven and Revis will be able to shut down that Kansas City offensive attack that they have. As long as they can contain and Alex Smith, do not let him run, force them to run the football, I think they will easily win this game. So now we're going down to the last 4 or 5 games. So now we got the Chargers against the Colts. Phillip Rivers coming off a really good game against Jacksonville, flat out dotting them up. Andy finding 2-game skids against the Lions and the Broncos. I think that the Indy and all their defensive injuries that they have regards to the secondary and Cromartie and then the front seven, that they're taking way too many injuries on defense, and it's Andrew Luck Colts. It's a one-man show. They really don't have anyone to help him besides maybe T.Y. Hilton and Moncrief and Dwayne Allen. But Dwayne Allen is really not that effective as he used to be in recent memory. But I think with them being at home, they still just don't have enough because it's just Andrew Luck finding ways to keep teams in the game, but it's just he doesn't have enough help around him to win some games. So I think the Chargers easily take this game. Even though it's considered an upset, I think the Chargers find a way to get this win. We got the Steelers against the Eagles. The final game on CBS. We got the Pittsburgh Steelers and Big Ben Roethlisberger, Antonio Brown, and Marcus Wheaton against the Philadelphia Eagles with Carson Wentz. I don't see them being able to stop that all-out attack that Big Ben has going on there with D'Angelo Williams. I don't think they'll be able to stop the run. They played the Bears pretty tough, but that's the Bears. You could literally bring a high school football team and beat the Bears. So, nonetheless, I think this is an easy win for the Steelers to go 3-0. And now, speaking of the Bears, this is one of the more boring Sunday night football games. We got the Bears against Dak P and the Cowboys. I think, does Jay Cutler bounce back? Or does Dak P dot up the Bears? Is up for debate. I think Tracy Porter, oh, that's just foul. 91% are voting the Cowboys. That's just foul. I really feel bad. I really want to pick the Bears, but I just can't. They haven't shown anything. Jeremy Langford is fumbling. Jay Cutler is trying to stiff arm, but he's still fumbling. He can't hold on to the football. Alshon Jeffrey is not getting the ball as much as he should be. Zach Miller isn't getting into the game. This has to go to the Cowboys. I think Ezekiel Elliott and Dak Prescott are going to have a monster day. And Dez Bryant, he's going to be able to do whatever he wants to that defense. So now we got the final 2 games because I'm going back up. So now we got the Falcons and the Saints. So the Saints finding every way not to play 4 quarters of defense. And then we got the Falcons with the air attack of Matty Ice and Julio Jones and Mohamed Sanu, one of the better pickups of the offseason with Devontae Freeman. Can the Saints contain those three? No, their defense is just struggling. They played a lot better against the Giants, but then they allowed a kick six, and I don't know. I don't think that the Saints are ready to hang with the Falcons. I think the Falcons easily get this win. Even though they're underdogs, even though the Saints are at home, I just don't see the Saints being able to beat the Falcons. They always play the Falcons tough. I'll give them that, but I don't think they'll be able to win this game. But now we got the final game of week 3. So now we got the Redskins at the Giants. The whole elusive Josh Norman versus Odell Beckham type mantra that we have going on for this week. I really don't think it'll be that type of game because I think they're going to keep Norman on one side. They're going to keep moving Odell Beckham around because they're going to really try to get Odell Beckham the ball as much as possible. It's in the Meadowlands, and I think that if they can get Odell Beckham and Victor Cruz and their new Sterling Shepard, the new tight end that they have for them, I think the Giants are going to be able to walk all over the Redskins. But if Kirk Cousins can weather the storm, get the ball down the field, actually put some touchdowns on the board, score more than 21 points, they can make this a very tight game. And then I think you have to keep Josh Norman on Odell Beckham, give him safety help with D'Angelo Hall. I think if you do that, I think you can take Odell Beckham out the game. But then you're jeopardizing the Sterling Shepard and the Victor Cruz and then whoever else they have on that receiving core or the running core that the Giants have. So you're really endangering yourself by double teaming Odell Beckham. So I think they're better off going in the zone, keeping Norman on one side, and trying their best to contain all the receivers, which is a lot easier said than done. But nonetheless, I think the Giants are going to be able to easily take this game by a score of 31-17. And so that's going to do it for week 3. So let me know if you guys have any controversial picks. Maybe you guys didn't like one pick. Maybe you guys think another one. Let me know in the comment section below. Leave some good feedback, some bad feedback, whatever feedback you want to leave. Like, comment, subscribe. And this is your boy Moon signing out. Until next week, peace.